Brookland is Live starts right now with breaking news.
Check, check. Okay, we're here. I apologize about that. We were having a few audio technical difficulties. We're back now. Uh, and you guys can, in fact, hear me. Again, I do apologize for that. I'm unclear what the issue was there. Actually, I do know we just had it set on the wrong mic here. So we are outside right now reporting, of course, on the conditions. As you just take a look around me, you can see it's an absolute, I would argue, white out here in Brooklyn, other than the fact that the snow has stopped. I will say I am still seeing flurries in the air, but I'm not sure if that's falling from the sky. The wind's blowing it because it is quite windy out here. It is extremely cold. We're covering every aspect of this storm. What I do want to do right now, though, is Governor Walz is holding a press conference right now, of course, on this incident that occurred in Minneapolis involving a Customs and Border Patrol officer who just contradicts what some people are saying. We're going to dive into all of this. We're just going to go to this press conference first, and it actually appears we've just lost signal to the press conference. Therefore, I'll keep talking over for you for just a moment. We're going to try to do this. We're here. I know we're live. I have seen myself. And speaking of that, it just loaded back. The feed's back, so let me switch to it. I'm pretty far from the computer, so it's kind of hard to see things. So I keep losing my mouse just to let you kind of just know where we're at. Oh, I see it. Okay, let's go to this press conference.
We will stand firmly on our constitutional rights and in favor of Minnesotans. We will do that in the ballot box, at the courts. We will do that in the streets in a peaceful, legal, First Amendment protected way. And we will do it in a multitude of ways. But one thing we will not do is we will not back down and we will not bend. And so let me wrap up by saying this. We will never forget Alex Preddy. We will never forget Renee Nicole Good. And we will never forget any of the Minnesotans who have suffered so unjustifiably in this time. Minnesota is a great place. That is why I believe we've been targeted. But it's not going to work. And we'll be in court tomorrow arguing for the rights of every Minnesotan to stand up and be the generous, courageous people that we are. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney General. We'll be glad to take some questions, folks. Tom?
Walz, you got a letter from Attorney General Pam Bondi making several demands, I guess you would call them, regarding sanctuary cities, regarding fraud and voter rolls. Your response to that, and is there anything you can do to meet the Trump administration at least part of the way to try to turn this temperature down?
Well, first of all, it's not a serious attempt, and the Attorney General sent that in. I would thank the local folks and Commissioner Snell. A great thank you to you and your team over there. In that letter, they talked about, you need to hand people over who are in your jails. They're taking credit for people that we've had in jail for a long time. We always hand them over, and the commissioner very clearly. So they're lying. They're lying. This has nothing to do with fraud. As the Attorney General said, they're not sending us forensic accountants, and these are things that have been we're dealing with now and have been for quite some time. So look, it's not a serious attempt to get at this. The way to fix this is get these folks out of here. We've continued to work with them. They asked us for these numbers. We provided them. We continue to show they're not serious. And look, I think everybody understands what the last request was, totally unrelated to anything on the voter files. This is, again, as the Attorney General said, Donald Trump telling everybody that the election was rigged, who started all this nightmare for America. Has nothing to do with it. And I would just give a pro tip to the Attorney General. There's 2 million documents in the Epstein files we're still waiting on. Go ahead and work on those.
For you or the Attorney General, if they're not honoring judicial warrants, how can you trust that they're going to be honoring this temporary restraining order?
Well, that's a good question. I'm glad you asked it because, since Trump 2 began, and even including Trump 1, we filed a lot of lawsuits. We're north of 50 now, and they've been on everything from birthright citizenship to SNAP to things like the National Institute of Health to EV to all kinds of things, and they've been complying with the orders. Now, I will say, the foot drag, we've had to threaten them with contempt a few times, and I'm not saying that the compliance has been good. I am saying that open defiance of court orders is not something that we've experienced. And so I have every reason to believe that they will obey the court order. Now, if they don't, we have recourse and we'll pursue that recourse. On a deeper level, your question, I would simply say this. Just because they may not do the right thing does not absolve us of the responsibility of doing the right thing. We're going to seek legal recourse, and if they disobey a court order, then that's on them. But we're going to seek those orders, and we're going to insist that they be followed.
Local sheriffs have said they lack the legal authority to honor ICE detainers, and that's something that Attorney General Ellison has said as well. They lack the authority under Minnesota law. Is that an authority you could just give them? Could you pass a law?
So really, the key issue here is I think most sheriffs in the state do fully honor ICE detainers and provide notification. The issue becomes when they have a lawful reason to be released, bail, released by judicial order. The jail cannot hold that person beyond that point in time. That's the fundamental issue. There is not a lack of cooperation. There is just some legal boundaries. We've had some conversations with ICE about this. We think that there may be some things that could be worked out, but I don't think that's the core issue that we're really dealing with here.
Can I simply say that it puts Minnesota in a very difficult position, because if such a person were held beyond a period of time when the state court has the authority to hold them, then the state court is exposing itself to liability. So ICE just has to show up and do its job.
That's the fundamental question here. And that's the fundamental argument they keep making. We cooperate. We don't do their job. You saw it this week with rural, conservative Cottonwood County. Sheriff had someone, told them this person's time is done. We can't just hold them indefinitely. It's against the law. So we're going to release this guy. Come and get him. They're too busy up here doing what they did yesterday to go pick up someone who actually should be removed from this country. And I don't know how many times they try and confuse the people across this country. It's their job to do immigrations and customs enforcement. It's law enforcement's job to do law enforcement in Minnesota. They are not doing immigration enforcement, saying we should be doing that, while they're apparently now trying to do extrajudicial law enforcement on our streets. So this is a red herring. It's untrue. The Attorney General of the United States put falsehoods into a letter she sends to me that we are doing what's asked of us, but we're not going to do your job for you. We have other things we need to do.
Attorney General, how concerned Are you getting back to the evidence in Freddie case, that you might not get access to his camera footage and that you might not get to the bottom of whether he was carrying an ID or not?
I am deeply concerned about the preservation of evidence, which is why we went to court last night. But I have faith in Judge Tonsrud's order that it will be followed, and I can tell you that Minnesota officials are going to do everything we can to get to the truth. And again, as a prosecutor, I am not allowed to say what the final outcome is going to be. We have to get the evidence and find out. But if you're asking me, Tom, if I'm concerned, you better believe I am concerned. But look, they got the order. Now they're going to defy the court if they don't follow it.
With Vice President Vance when he was in town on Thursday, I understand.
I did.
Can you tell us about what the tenor of that meeting was? His goal was to turn down the temperature. 2 days later, there was the shooting.
Well, I guess it didn't work, huh? I mean, here's the thing. Governor Walz and I were in Congress together for 12 years before both of us went to go serve in state government. We're used to talking to these folks. Why not see if there's something that can be arrived at? I can tell you that it was a polite meeting. I can also tell you that I walked out of there thinking that we probably weren't going to get anywhere. Because quite honestly, a few hours late, not even hours, a few minutes later, he just got up there and just articulated the same talking points he made to me in the meeting. I tried to correct him. He didn't want to hear that. And so I'm like, well, welcome to Minnesota. Thank you very much. You both of us have things to do. So see you later. And I left. It was cordial enough, but it was not fruitful. But look, I just think that, and I'm sure the governor agrees. If you can try to talk to somebody sensibly, we do. But that one didn't get where we had hoped.
Yeah, Lauren Gurley here from the Washington Post. Do you know if the federal agents who were directly around Freddie during the time of the shooting are still out on the street in the Twin Cities or anywhere else in Minnesota? Any of them?
Don't know. They don't talk to us. They don't tell us. They don't.
With the BCA being denied access to the scene after getting a warrant, is there recourse for them that way, or do you feel that this restraining order that you obtained requiring the federal government to preserve evidence is that recourse?
So there are certain legal strategy decisions that I'm not at liberty to just go on about in a meeting like this one. What I can tell you is that both the warrant and the TRO are evidence of our resolve. And we are going to get to the truth of what happened to Mr. Alex Preddy and to the truth of what happened to Renee Good. And that's what we're pledging. And we're going to use every legal means to do that. So I can't tell you, I'm not at liberty to tell you what you're asking me, but I am here to assure the public and who's listening that we are going to get to the truth of this matter, and we won't be deterred and we won't be denied.
Gibson, we did see BCA agents at the shooting scene this morning. Can you confirm what they were doing there?
Absolutely. The question was about whether or not the BCA agents were on the scene of the shooting this morning, and they were continuing to collect evidence that they've seen. They were also doing some canvassing of the neighborhoods. I don't want to get into any more of the investigative process in this, but at the BCA, we are going to continue to investigate this shooting based on whatever evidence we're able to get, and we appreciate the Attorney General assisting us with the temporary restraining order to make sure that the federal government is retaining evidence that will be available, we would assume, to us at a later time. But the investigation will not pause. We are continuing to work on anything and everything that we possibly can.
I'm going to close with one thing that I promised the parents with Michael and Susan. And I speak to all Americans on this over these last 24 hours, what you saw You're now knowing more about this young man. Beloved by his family, accomplished ICU nurse, skillful in ability to work with veterans, someone who's beloved by community, no criminal record, lawful firearms owner. And you know what you saw. And then you heard the most powerful people in the world, certainly in this country, President, Vice President, Greg Bovino, Kristi Noem, narrate to you what you were looking at, that this was a domestic terrorist, crazed, running at law enforcement.
Alrighty, there you have been watching video from this is Governor Tim Walz of Minnesota. Of course, we are going to show you more into this incident here in just a few moments, but as they wrap up that press conference there, we want to make sure, give me one moment here. We want to make sure that we're bringing you the full story here. I do apologize, sorry, we're working with some audio technical issues, but I believe we've gotten them fixed. I'm going to show you some more video here. This is video that shows the moment leading up to the incident, and in the second video we showed this at our 9 a.m. hour as well, but it's going to show leading up to the incident, but also a little bit after the incident in the shooting. I do want to warn you, before we do show you this, of course viewer discretion is advised here. Stand by and I'll get that ready for you. What I can show you is this video right here. This is protests breaking out. This is yesterday, of course, following the incident here involving Alex following the shooting of Alex Jeffrey Preddy. He was an ICU nurse. He was shot and killed by a U.S. Border Patrol agent. This was early yesterday, and excuse me here, I'm trying to find the video. I know it's in here. It's just where? Oh, I see it. Okay. Here is the video. Let me check if it's going. Okay, it looks like it's. We'll keep looking at these protests for just a moment. We're having some issues with that video, so you'll have to stand by with us. Looks like we're getting it right about now. Okay. Here is that video. Take a look.
Yeah, unroll your windows. No, you're just right inside. Let's go around.
Alrighty, I did want to warn you there that that video is going to deeply disturbing. We are going to, of course, continue following this incident. I want to take you because to the entire other side of this entire story. So we're learning that there has been a press conference from leaders there, and excuse me here, my paper has just dropped. So from leaders in the border patrol leader and I believe another agency, might be ICE as well there, and they held a press conference a few moments ago. Give me one moment and I'll play it out for you. Here is that press conference. Let's listen into this.
Military, join law enforcement. Making a choice is a freedom that resides within us. Now, good choices are important in life, as we all know. And many actions that take place are due to our choices. The choice to, say, cross the border illegally, that is a choice that someone makes. To cross the border illegally, that's a choice. The choice not to utilize the CBP Home app, that's a choice. Not standing in line and doing it the right way, that is a choice. And there are always actions that result from our choices. When you choose to use your 5-year-old child as a shield to evade law enforcement, that is a choice that someone makes. And there are actions and consequences that result from that choice. Or when you're a politician or a community leader, you make a lot of choices there, some very important, wide-ranging, and in-depth choices. When, as a politician, if you choose collusion and corruption as a choice, then there are consequences and actions that take place because of that. That's one reason the U.S. Border Patrol and ICE are here in Minneapolis by the thousands, is because of those choices. When politicians, community leaders, and some journalists engage in that heated rhetoric we keep talking about, when they make the choice to vilify law enforcement, calling law enforcement names like Gestapo, or using the term kidnapping, that is a choice that is made. There are actions and consequences that come from those choices. And then when you choose, when someone chooses to listen to a politician, a so-called journalist, a community leader that spouted that type of vilification towards law enforcement or anything else, when you choose to listen to that, that is a choice, and there are consequences and actions there also. I think we saw that yesterday. And those actions and choices can obviously have tragic consequences, bad outcomes, outcomes that law enforcement never wants to see. Law enforcement never wants to see a bad consequence due to a poor choice. Now, these choices have reverberations throughout society. Let's take a look at, go ahead and put that on the screen, please. Yesterday, Border Patrol agents were engaged in a targeted law enforcement effort to apprehend this individual here, Mr. Jose Huerta Chuma. Look at his criminal record: domestic assault, intentional infliction of bodily harm, disorderly conduct. He's also got some other records there as well. This individual remains at large today. This individual is still roaming the streets today. This is the individual on that targeted law enforcement efforts that Border Patrol agents were engaged in yesterday when they were disrupted, assaulted, and prevented from conducting that Title VIII mission by individuals intent on making the choice to riot, to create anarchy, and to be a violent mob. This individual walks the streets today because of those choices made by politicians and those perhaps weaker-minded constituents that chose to follow directions of those politicians. Sad state of affairs. Now, enforcing the law is not a choice. I choose to be a Border Patrol agent. Mr. Marcos Charles chooses to be an ICE agent, but enforcing the law, that's not a choice, that is a duty. As we all know, those laws were enacted by Congress, signed by the executive, and upheld most of the time by the judiciary. Those are the laws of our land. That is our duty to enforce those laws, whether that's a Title VIII immigration law, whether that's chasing a bank robber or a spy or whatever else. That is our duty, whether it's a state and local law enforcement agency, and they make choices also. Do they support federal law enforcement going after Mr. Jose Huerta Chuma, or do they not? We all make choices. Our Title VIII immigration mission continues. Next slide. Our Title VIII immigration mission continues unabated here in Minneapolis, despite yesterday's tragedy that was preventable by folks making better choices, politicians, journalists, and would-be anarchists and rioters. This individual from Laos was apprehended within the past 24 hours. This operation continues unabated. This is evidence of that. We will continue to make these streets a safer place. It is our duty, because we choose to be Border Patrol agents and ICE agents, to take individuals like that off the streets so we can make Minneapolis and America a safer place. Thank you. Hold on questions until the end. Mr. Marcos Charles will talk, and we'll take questions at the end, ma'am. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I know Commander Bovino spoke about yesterday's incident and the situation, but I also want to draw your attention to the continued uptick in violence we're seeing against federal law enforcement officials, not just here, but across the country. Yesterday, here in Minneapolis, a crowd of violent agitators tackled an ICE special agent when one of our special response teams went to assist. A protester literally bit off part of that agent's finger. The officer received immediate medical attention on the scene and was transported to the emergency room for treatment. We do want to thank the people at the hospital for the assistance and the staff who treated our officer. The officer is recovering, but is now permanently maimed and has lost part of his finger. I don't think I have to tell you that this kind of violence is unacceptable, but I also don't think I need to tell you that this kind of violence is not a coincidence. When sanctuary politicians, activists, and the media work hard to create chaos and fear instead of using their platforms to reassure their communities, this is the result. The reality is, and this is what Commander Bovino and I have been talking about all week, we're out here to arrest dangerous criminal illegal aliens so they can't victimize innocent people in our communities anymore. Since the beginning of this operation, we've arrested over 3,400 illegal aliens, removing criminals, gang members, and terrorists out of Minnesota communities, detaining them in ICE custody for removal from the country. Those are criminals who won't reoffend in our communities. Those are criminals who won't be creating more victims that could be one of your family members or loved ones. Some of these criminals that we arrested yesterday are on the scene, well, these are our agitators from yesterday, if anybody wants to take a picture of these people or haven't seen them yet. The first picture was the individual who decided to bite off one of our agents' fingers.
Alrighty, Border Patrol and ICE officials, as you'll continue listening there to them speak at a press conference. This was held earlier this hour. We wanted to get to all of that. We are following tons of news, so we are going to break out at that right now. Of course, they were speaking on that shooting that occurred on Alex Preddy, excuse me, there in Minneapolis, a Custom and Border Patrol officer shooting there. We do want to talk about the winter weather that we are experiencing right now. As you can see, Brookland News doesn't often get outside and cover a weather condition quite like this one. It is freezing. I'll tell you that it's freezing. I do have my gloves on, and I'll tell you, just to anyone that's like Jackson, you got to be inside. I am. Each little commercial break when we were playing that video, I step inside. So I'm only out here for short periods of time. So, which is the way we've been doing it this last little bit. So I do want to take you through the forecast. I do want to do that. So you'll have to give me a second. In order to use my mouse, I do have to take off my gloves. So one moment. I do want to take a look at your hour by hour forecast. I see it on here. a look right now at your hour by hour forecast. This is showing you kind of where things are going to shape out at. This is, and I should say 4 p.m. That's a typo. That's okay, though. 3 p.m., 19 degrees, 19 degrees. It's only going to get lower right now. The overnight low still at 1 degree. The current temperature right now, if you guys will give me a moment, it's 23 degrees, but it feels like 8. Early this morning when we were on the air, it felt like -1. So it was, I don't know, it was a little chillier than that. Maybe it was 8 degrees, felt like -1. I don't quite remember. But when we were on the air for our 9 a.m. show, it was still bitterly cold. And right now, luckily that I'm only being outside for kind of a short period of time, we're not seeing that here. So that is so far so good, I guess you could say. So that is what things are going to shape at overnight. Where they're still looking, keeping the overnight lows at -1. Want to take you right now to your 3-day forecast. Find me a moment. So doing graphics here, there's so many things that I have put in for you because we are following a lot of news right now. Take a look at your 3-day forecast there. Tonight, -1. We're still getting flurries, at least here in Brooklyn. I don't think the camera is capturing them, but it's starting to lay on my equipment and my scarf that I have sitting to the side there. So that's where things are looking at right now in your 3-day forecast. It's only going to get colder tomorrow. You see that 18 and 8. And then Tuesday and Wednesday, we thought, okay, maybe we are going to get closer to those temperatures that might start melting the snow. No, we're not getting closer. It was actually forecasted by Tuesday to be up in the 30s. Now it's in the 20s. So we're not there just quite yet. I want to take you to a video we're getting in. Actually, we'll do traffic first, and then we'll go to that video. I'll show you the video here in just a moment, but I do want to take you right now to your road conditions. It's a look live right now at iDrive Arkansas, showing you those adverse road conditions. If you don't got to be out, I just don't be out. If you don't have to, you don't need to. So the blue is the snow, the pinkish color is the slush, and the purple is the ice. So you're going to see the ice farther towards southern Arkansas, and that's the story that they've been following there, of course, now for quite some time since this all began. So we've been following that here as well. So we'll continue keeping you a look right now at your traffic conditions there. Excuse me, I know you're hearing a lot of movement. You're wondering, Jackson, what are you doing? Sorry, guys. I'm just changing something really quickly behind the scenes here. So I wanted to change that before while you guys could not see me for just a moment. So I was just changing something quickly behind the scenes. Let me actually do this now. Here we go. Okay. Sorry, guys. I was changing something quickly behind the scenes. Just wanted to do that very quickly. Here we go. This is what I was changing, the shot that you guys all see. And I don't know if the camera's capturing it. The flurries are beginning to pick up right now. So that is something that we are seeing here. I want to take you right now, though, to a live look in Brooklyn as we continue our look on road conditions. There's a live look in Brooklyn right now, beginning to show you some of those conditions that we are seeing here. Roads have cleared out since when I was on the air at 9 a.m. So that's something we're for sure seeing. I want to go right now because RDOT, they're kind of warning people to stay safe out there. They're saying kind of, things that they had originally had set up are not in the best of shape. So I want to show you what RDOT is saying here. If you guys will give me just one moment, I'll show you what RDOT is saying. This is the public information officer, Dave Parker. This was earlier this morning. Take a look.
Hello, everybody. I'm Dave Parker, your public information officer for the Arkansas Department of Transportation. Obviously, we've all been dealing with a major winter storm since Friday night. I guess it started snowing, and now Sunday, it's tapering off finally. Yesterday, we were able to make some progress, making one lane passable on the interstates and highways here in Arkansas, but all that work was lost overnight with the second wave of snow and sleet that crossed much of Arkansas. So, bear with us. We are getting at it. We are doing the very best we can. I'm asking again today, Sunday, please stay at home and stay safe and warm. Let us get out there and do the job that you've hired us to do. We're not going to see much thawing out. You're not going to see a ton of progress Monday, because it's still going to be bitter cold and not much sunshine at all until Tuesday. And whatever might melt Tuesday is simply going to refreeze Tuesday night and Wednesday. So it's going to be a very slow and difficult process the next couple of days. We will do the very best we can. You guys stay safe, and we'll get out there and try to knock it out a little bit today and then Monday. Thank you for your patience in all this. We appreciate.
So you hear him there for just a moment, just talking about the adverse conditions that even the people that are trying to plow the roads, even the people that are working to make sure we are all safe here, they are facing. So lots of problems, lots of things going on that we are following. So, and we're doing this kind of old styled. I'm running off of papers that are telling me what to do, where to go, at what time now. So if you're wondering, Jackson, are you just trying to look like a news reporter with the papers? Kind of. Okay, we're going to take you right now to a live shot of the White House. And again, I said it a few moments ago, but I'm pretty far away from the computer in front of me. So I'm having, if you see me looking down and with my eyes kind of pinched, it is because I'm looking pretty far away. So that's a live look right now at the White House, where, of course, they are beginning to see some of these adverse conditions because the storm that has moved out of here, now they're seeing some of that. So they are working to, of course, keep those roads clear. FEMA in D.C. was working as well. So a lot going on across really just the entire nation. This storm is affecting a large part of really the United States. Unless you're far to the west, you are not seeing this. I mean, you are seeing this is what I mean to say there. So a lot going on, a lot we are following right here in Brooklyn when it comes to the forecast. I did want to get to, at the top of the hour, though, that other news that we were following, of course, on all of this. The family is releasing a statement here, and I'm going to take you back to our camera in Brooklyn as I prepare to show you a statement. The family of the man who was shot by that Custom Border Patrol's agent, and you guys, I'm turning back to a news story we covered back at the top of the hour. They are releasing a statement. I want to show you that statement. Again, this is what the family is saying, and I apologize here because I do have to move closer. But they say, quote, "We are heartbroken but also very angry. Alex was a kind-hearted soul who cared deeply for his family and friends, and also the American veterans whom he cared for as an ICU nurse at the Minneapolis VA hospital. Alex wanted to make a difference in this world. Unfortunately, he will not be with us to see his impact. I do not throw around the hero term lightly. However, his last thought and act was to protect a woman. The sickening lies told about our son by the administration are reprehensible and disgusting. Alex is clearly not holding a gun when attacked by Trump's murdering and cowardly ICE thugs. He has his phone in his right hand, and his empty left hand is raised above his head while trying to protect the woman ICE just pushed down, all while being pepper sprayed. Please get the truth out about our son. He was a good man." So that's the statement that we are getting in right now from the family of Alex Preddy, who is there again, giving this statement right now on kind of what things look like, what their belief of all this is. A live look back right now in Brooklyn showing you these conditions there. We're going to sneak in a quick commercial break. On the other side, a fresh, brand new hour of Brooklyn News Live starts up. Alrighty, 201 now. Roll the intro. A brand new hour of Brooklyn News Live starts right now.
Brooklyn News Live starts right now with breaking news.
Alrighty, welcome into Brooklyn News Live. So good to be with all of you. You're taking a look there on the left side of your screen. Live in Brooklyn as we continue to follow these conditions outside your front door. Snow continuing to fall here in Brooklyn, flurries at least, so nothing that really is going to add up to anything, but we are, of course, following it for all of you. You're taking a look there on the left side of your screen, live in Brooklyn. Sorry, guys, it's really cold here. You can see side by side, as they call them there, at that red light in Brooklyn. Of course, seen a lot of those throughout the last few days. Let's take a look at your traffic conditions, a full screen look there at I-Drive Arkansas, showing you the snow, the ice, the slush. You see the little map key there on the far left side of your screen. We're following a lot this hour. When we talk about traffic, we've got everything going on. All the way from right here in Jonesboro to in D.C., the Reagan National Airport shutting down. This is the post from them on social media. They say, quote, alert, airlines have canceled all flights at the airport today. Check with your airline for confirmation and rebooking options. Please stay home and off the icy roads. Of course, it has been a dangerous few days, including right here in Arkansas, far southern parts of Arkansas, seeing that ice. That's been the big story there. So we're following it all in every aspect of this all. So we'll take you back to this camera we've been looking at every so frequently. A live look at the White House. You see, it's dark. From what I'm seeing, it's dark, but the snow is pounding down there. So, again, following really just every aspect of this storm. So, we are also following other news this hour that we've been covering so deeply. The Customs and Border Patrol agent who shot that man in Minneapolis. Two press conferences we aired to you last hour. Two different sides of the story. So we're following every aspect of that. Of course, what the families are now coming out and saying. We just showed you a statement from one of those family members. So we'll continue to follow, again, just really every single aspect of this storm. Time now 2:05 p.m. We're live here in Brooklyn. As you can see, the conditions behind me. I'm going to throw right now to that story, that Minneapolis story, because now people are coming out and questioning whether the DHS, the Department of Homeland Security, which funds ICE, funds Border Patrol, are they going to be seeing funding? Are we going to see a partial government shutdown? Now that is being kind of that language being thrown around because many Democrats coming out and saying, no, they are not going to see their funding, including Chuck Schumer. First, I want to show you this statement from a Republican, Thomas Massey, saying, quote, carrying a firearm is not a death sentence. It's a constitutionally, it is a constitutionally protected God-given right. And if you don't understand this, you have no business in law enforcement or government. Chuck Schumer also weighing in on all of this. You'll have to give me a second here. I'm trying to look for it here. I'm not seeing it. Maybe it's far up here. But again, Chuck Schumer also weighing in on all of this, saying Democrats aren't going to vote in favor of something that would fund that. Some Republicans kind of just saying, well, it's kind of chaos to do that. So we've been following really, again, just every single aspect of this story as well. Okay, here's Chuck Schumer's statement. Apologies, I was just getting that ready for you. He says, quote, what's happening in Minnesota is appalling and unacceptable in any American city. Democrats sought common sense reforms in the Department of Homeland Security spending bill, but because of Republicans' refusal to stand up to President Trump, the DHS bill is woefully inadequate to rein in the abuses of ICE. I will vote no there. So again, so much to that story that we're going to be following for you all. We've been on the air now for about 46 minutes or so, and it's becoming a little, you guys know, as it gets cold, it becomes a little hard to talk, and that's what I'm experiencing right now. Therefore, we're going to end it a little early here. I apologize, but I just want to make sure that the equipment that is broadcasting this, but also myself, I'm putting myself in safe situations. So, therefore, we're going to wrap things up today. It is so good to be again broadcasting here once again from outdoors. I will tell you, tomorrow we're returning to my favorite place, my at-home studio. Not necessarily my favorite place. I like reporting from outdoors. It's just in these conditions, it's not nice, but. We're returning to our at-home studio where we'll bring you the news from there. We'll bring you the top headlines, the live feeds, everything you need to know. Also, something good about the at-home studio, everything works. Everything almost always works. Like I just click a button and it works. Here in the cold, here outside, it does not. We are going to continue our reporting from on the scene. Of course, we will continue to do that forever. That's our goal. If I'm able to be on the scene of an incident, I will. So we're going to wrap things up right now. Thanks for watching. We'll see you right back here tomorrow, 2 p.m. We're returning to regular programming in the weekday. So join us then. Thanks for watching, guys.